around it, if you allow me. First, when we say winner take all, what are we saying? Because the ultimate of a competition is that there will be a winner and a loser, right? That's a democracy. There will be a winner and a loser. The process must make it possible for us to arrive at that outcome credibly, right? Credibly. And if there is any issue about the outcome, there is a process like the one NASA took in 2017 of going to an election court and determining whether it was fair or not, right? Now, I have a small problem with us making suggestions that may give the indication that we don't want a democracy. We don't want to compete. My friend Joe, I mean, if we run away from a democracy, what are we going to? How do we arrive? Because when you go to an election, it is not necessarily about people competing. It's about policy positions. We go to elections to give Kenyans options. You know, when Kenyans say we are voting for this, they are voting for their belief in what that political party is proposing as their policy position. Right?
If winner take all when a deputy president, I would imagine that you know that the person who has spoken the most about it is actually the president, including yesterday in his speech where he was actually talking about us running away from this situation where winner takes all, a zero-sum game he called it, where the winner takes it all.
No, but you see, that's what we need to unpack. You know, what does it mean? Yeah? What does it mean?
What does it mean to you?
No, because we need to follow through. We must continue, in my very honest opinion, to have elections. What we must do is to make sure those elections are credible. When we say that we want an outcome where there is no winner, no loser, what do we mean? You know, we are completely misunderstanding the whole scenario. What must be the case is like what we did in Jubilee. We won the election, but the policy positions we proposed when we went to the elections, they were not for Jubilee members. They were for Kenyans. When we ran the whole program of technical training colleges, it is in every constituency in Kenya. When we ran our electricity program, it is in every part of Kenya, every Kenyan, 45 million of us. When we ran the program on our infrastructure, road, rail, it is a national program. So let us not misunderstand that if one person wins, you know, they go and work for the people who voted for them. That's not the case, right? They work for everybody. You know, they go and work for is as the people who voted for them, as the people governing. Because the proposals that have been made, which Kenyans have voted for, it is now the responsibility of the people in the opposition to make sure that those policies are implemented by the people who have been elected, or the party that has been elected. And it also gives an opportunity for the people who did not win, or who lost for that matter, to refashion, you know, their policy positions, to rethink, you know, and present themselves at the next election. You know,
that's a very
that is where we should. That's what we should look at.
But I would like to put you on record on this whole issue of the push, as we speak right now, to amend the Constitution.
Yes.
What is your view on this attempt to amend the 2010 Constitution?
Well, first, I don't know what is being amended. Right?
Would you like to be amended?
But you must know first what is being amended.
It's not
before.
like there are some people out there coming to amend it. It's Kenyans like you. Would you like it to see it amended? That is a fair question.
You know, Joe, that's not a very fair question. You know, you're putting the cart before the horse. I mean, what are the issues? What are we trying to deal with? To the best of my knowledge, this whole push is being pushed by leaders. It's not being pushed by the public, by the people. The people at this moment in time, and I engage with many of them, the people are concerned about their jobs. They have lost jobs. They have lost livelihoods. They are concerned about their children. They are concerned about what they will eat. At this point in time, they are concerned about this corona. Where is it going to end? There seems to be no end in sight. That is their concern. That's the concern of many people. And I would wish that those of us who are in leadership can plug into that conversation where Kenyans are thinking about their livelihoods. Unfortunately, many of us are concerned more about how we are going to rearrange the Constitution so that we can, create some positions. You know, this thing about changing the Constitution is very weird. We went to Bomas. The first draft was brought to us, and everybody said, fine. If this is the document, we have absolutely no problem with it, because largely it presented issues that were to be implemented, administrative issues, policy issues, and not much, right? And we all agreed. But then, I don't know who complained, because I have never heard anybody who complained about the document. But somehow, the document was taken back, and now we are waiting. So we don't know whether it will come the way it was, or whether it is. Do you have a clue of what could be in this thing?
I think the president does, because yesterday he actually said this is the time to amend the Constitution.
Yes.
He spent a good part of his speech yesterday speaking about the need to amend the Constitution. So I'm finding it very strange that...
There is nothing strange. You see...
I'm finding it very strange that where you sit, you actually think it is not a priority, that the priority is delivery of services to the people and all of these things. You are in the same party with the president. You ran on the same platform. I would imagine that your policy priorities would be the same at this point. It clearly is not.
Are you aware, Joe, that the only political party who did not have a position in the BBI is Jubilee? Are you aware that there was no position that was presented to BBI that came from Jubilee as a party? Because it is not a matter we discussed in the party. Right? And I am not saying what you're saying. What I'm saying is maybe, just maybe, when this document is finally unveiled, it will have some things that would actually persuade us that it is a priority at the moment, and then maybe we can persuade the people that yes, your priority could be food, could be your job, could be your business, could be your child going to school, but we have another priority here, you know? And you know, the Constitution is a social contract. It is between the governed and the governors, right? So it's not something for us to decide as government, right? So it is.
But you understand my dilemma.
It is something that has to be worked out, right? Between Kenyans, between Kenyans. It's not a government position that we are taking a position as government.
So you are saying, Dr. Ruto, that the things that the president has been saying, neither Jubilee position nor government position, those are his personal views as Uhuru Kenyatta.
Well, I don't know about that, but the best of my knowledge, we have never had a meeting as Jubilee to discuss, right, about our position in changing the constitution. And I have my thoughts as William Ruto, because I am deputy president, right? But I'm also a Kenyan called William Ruto. And when you are discussing the constitution, I have to discuss it if we have agreed at the government level. If we don't have a position at party level, then I have to give you my views, right? And my position is the following. My position is, if we have to deal with the problem of people after every election being incited to fight, right? There is nothing you can do in the constitution to deal with that. It is just the mannerisms of the people participating in the election. Yeah? So those of us who are participating in elections, we must be Democrats. If you don't win an election, respect the outcome, right? The problem we have, the violence, the conflict that is created every election is because of people who do not accept the outcome of elections. It is not the carrying out of elections. It is not the voting by Kenyans. It is when you don't accept the outcome of an election, then we have a problem, right? And that is when people are driven into conflict and violence. And that's something we should avoid. Secondly, I have had a proposal that maybe the way to deal with conflict around elections is to create 5 or 6 other positions to accommodate the political players. I have a very serious problem with that. Very serious problem with that. For 2 reasons. When you go to an election, you will have formations, like we have Jubilee and we have NASA. Even if you have 5 positions or 6 positions, if NASA wins, for arguments, they will share all the 5 positions. If Jubilee wins, then we share all the 5 positions. So there will be a side, right? There will be a side that must form the opposition for purposes of accountability. And we must not demonize the opposition. The opposition have a constitutional responsibility to carry out. And that is why in my proposal I said that we should mainstream and make sure that the opposition is facilitated to carry out their responsibility. Right? So that's where we are. I don't think, my friend Joe, I don't think you can cure the problem of ethnicity in Kenya by creating 3-4 positions. In fact, the question I ask myself, okay, assuming you create 5-6 positions and it is shared between the 4-5 big tribes, what happens to 37 other communities in Kenya? What happens to them? Are we constitutionalizing marginalization? That it will continue that way, right? That's the problem I have. And secondly, and wait, Joe. In fact, what we are attempting to do in the Constitution, we should actually do it in our political parties. My philosophy of how to deal with the problem we have, right, is that contrary to the proposal that we organize Kenyans around tribes, then there is a tribal chief, and then we have 5 positions for the tribal chiefs to share. Yeah? My position, that's not how to deal with this problem. Because those who will be left out of the 5, next time the other communities will say, now that this is the way we are going, then let's and it is an endless thing.
That sounds like an existential threat even to the country.
Let me
you haven't given these views anywhere except at Chatham House.
Let me say the following. My position, right? My position is, instead of going to mutilate the Constitution and do whatever it is that we want to do there, we should actually, as opposed to having tribal chiefs sharing positions, we should nationalize our political parties. In fact, the medicine to ethnicity, to regional integration, the value system is in political parties. I
have listened to you patiently.
We should, in fact, have national political parties that brings all Kenyans together, makes sure that every Kenyan is represented, every gender is placed appropriately in that political party, so that when the party wins government, that national outlook is transferred into government.
I understand that very well.
That is my philosophy.
That being an important issue, that it is your philosophy, you said, yet we haven't seen you give those views to the BBI, which at this moment, that task force is supposedly the one that is going to bring the report that could be taken to a referendum, that could determine how this constitutional issue is settled. How is it that these views that you hold so strongly haven't been shared with this task force?
Joe, one, we haven't presented to the task force a party position. I would have canvassed my party.
That's a personal view, and there are individuals who present.
I would have canvassed my position, and I have pushed for my position using other avenues into the BBI. The conversation as to whether they will take them up or not is a different story.
So you have spoken to the BBI team?
Not directly, but I have made sure that they have, those views are part of what they have. Yeah.
There are people listening to you.
Because I did not, now that the president, who is my boss, did not present his views, and we did not present views as a party, I didn't want to look like I am, doing something that is not quite correct. That's why I decided, let me use alternative avenues so that it remains tidy.
A lot of people listening to you, Banadiki, will be saying, you and the president seem to be having all these diametrically opposed views on even very fundamental things. The president seems to have seized this matter of changing the constitution as an important part of his legacy. And he, in fact, believes that the BBI is a vehicle through which this is going to be delivered. But from everything that you've been saying, it doesn't appear to me that you have that much confidence in what is going on right now around changing the constitution.
You see, changing the constitution...
say whether it should be changed right now or not.
No, changing the constitution is not something that we can decide as a party, because it is something for all Kenyans to do. It's not something that I can say my legacy is to change the constitution, right? It is something that Kenyans, supposing I say my legacy is to change the constitution and then Kenyans don't change the constitution, what does that mean, right? So that cannot be. And I don't think the president has said changing the constitution is part of his legacy.
No, he doesn't have to say it deeply. We have
so
seen,
what we are saying,
even got into a deal with the person who was his fiercest rival in the election, and it seems to me that changing the constitution is an important part of it. So important that yesterday, on the back of a COVID-19 briefing, he found it necessary to remind the country.
But you see, it seems to you, right?
It doesn't seem to you?
It seems to you that is what you are imagining what the president wants, yeah. But the president he knows how to change the constitution. Are you telling me the president does not know that to change the constitution you have to involve the people of Kenya?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for your information, what I am saying does not mean that the constitution will not be changed. Those are my views. But ultimately, Joe, what will happen is whether we change the constitution, it will be Kenyans to decide to change the constitution. And I'm a Democrat, and I live with what Kenyans, the majority of Kenyans have decided. Yeah, I had views about this the constitution we have today. Yeah. But when Kenyans decided that this is the constitution, I folded my views and lived with the constitution that there is. So,
and yet now there's an opportunity to change it, and you don't think
I have my own views, about changing the constitution, right? I need to be persuaded on what areas to change. I will. I don't think we want to change the constitution for the sake of changing the constitution. If there are persuasive areas that will make the constitution better, that will be presented when the new draft of proposals come up, we are reasonable people, right? We will look at it, and if they merit, the people of Kenya will decide, and we will do what we have to do.
As we finish,
but you cannot say that I cannot have views, because that's what you seem to be saying, and that by having my own views, and they are not the same as the ones of the president or the ones of Raila or the ones of the next guy, then you find that there is a problem. Are you saying that we cannot have different views?
What I am saying, maybe I haven't spoken very good.
Yeah.
This is the question.
Because that seems to be.
I'm trying to.
That seems to be.
This is what I want to find out from you today.
Yes.
You're going on record to say that as the deputy president or as William Ruto or in whatever capacity, you do not think that today it is a priority for us to change the 2010 constitution?
Until I am persuaded.
By who?
By the contents. Do you know what needs to be changed? Joe, maybe you are in a better position than me. Many Kenyans are in my position.
You're asking the questions tonight.
Do you know what needs to be? Do you have a clue of what needs to be changed? Because if it was what we saw in Bomas 1, we have absolutely, and I made my position very clear. We have absolutely no problem.
So as it is now, you don't see a reason to change it? I
don't have a basis, because I don't have a document, and I don't have a position.
When you look, it's not like the document, it's not like the positions are coming from another country. When you look at the 2010 constitution, which I'm sure you have read as the deputy president, do you find anything there that is pressing enough to be changed in 2020 as we speak?
I think what is much more pressing is something like the gender rule that we have not implemented. I think that's something that we should be concerned about, right? Because it is a live pronouncement of the new constitution, and we have a duty to make sure that every article and every clause of the constitution is implemented. The rest of the positions, as and when they are presented, then I will form my opinion, because, to be fair, I do not have a mechanism of finding out what is in the document. As late as the other week, I think 2 weeks ago, I heard the chairman of the BBI, Yusuf Haji, in the Senate saying, if this and this thing is in the BBI, I am going to oppose it. Now, tell me, Joe, if the chairman of the BBI does not know, is not sure of what is in the document, tell me now about me and you. And how do you want me to take a position on a document which I have not seen, which I have no clue, and which the chairman himself does not even know?
I was asking about the 2010 constitution, which you have seen. But I want to talk about Jubilee, the party.
Yes.
As we finish this,
yes.
What is your standing within the Jubilee party today?
What do you mean standing?
Because we've seen a cacophony going on in that party. We don't even know who is, for example, the vice chair of the party resigned, come back. We don't know anything that's going on in the party. Is Jubilee functioning as a party?
Well, of course, Jubilee is not functioning as a party. There is a problem. We have a challenge in the party, because President Uhuru Kenyatta and I and many other people worked tirelessly to put together a national political party. We folded about 10 or 12 political parties to form Jubilee. I went out of my way. I was running a party with 75 members of parliament called URP. Uhuru Kenyatta was running TNA. Many other people were running other parties. I remember I went out of my way to persuade people like Raila Murungi to follow the bus. I went out of my way to persuade people like Ken Lusaka. I even had to organize a delegation for the leadership of New Fort Kenya then, for me to speak to them about why it was necessary for us to form a national political party. And it was our position then with President Uhuru Kenyatta that we should have a party that is national, where every Kenyan from every persuasion, from every community would feel at home in that party. That is how we formed Jubilee as a party, right? And I am very passionate about a national political party, because I know therein lies the solution to our problems, political problems as a nation. The only way we can get rid of ethnicity, we can get rid of regionalism, we can actually entrench values of gender balance and all the other good values, is when we have a functional national political party. And if there is one thing that I want to achieve as a politician, is to finally make Jubilee a national political party, a party that every community in Kenya feels at home. The President Uhuru Kenyatta, as our party leader, has laid the foundation, right? And today, out of 41 counties we have elected either MCA, Member of Parliament, Senator, Governor in 41. It's only in 6 counties that we didn't find somebody elected in the last general election, right? Unfortunately, and this is tragic, you know, the party has been hijacked by busybodies and conmen, you know, and brokers like Murathe and company. Yeah, people who have no clue where why the philosophy behind Jubilee. They were nowhere. Yeah, we appointed them into those positions as a caretaker, waiting for us to have elections so that we can have elected officials in the party. Unfortunately, they have hijacked the party, and they are now running it in a way that is unbelievable. They are running it through fiat. You know, you take this position or you get out of the party. This is the party position. You ask them, when did the party meet? You know, they have changed. Their word has become the party position. Have you consulted the party leader? Have you consulted the deputy party leader? Now, that is the challenge we have in Jubilee.
Why would that be a challenge, Dr. Ruto, considering that you and the president, as you say, worked very hard to build this party? He is the president. That's a very powerful position, even in the country. You are the deputy president. You're speaking almost as if you do not have any control whatsoever. Have you lost control of the party?
Admittedly, there is a problem in the party. You can see, you know, quite clearly.
Is that why I'm trying to find out?
And
how can they
you know, the same, and I have told them, the same virus that infected Kanu and finally killed it, the virus of people with a different opinion being kicked out of the party or of positions, has now come to Jubilee, unfortunately. You've seen close to 60 or so members of parliament have been ejected from committees, from positions in the party.
What do these people have?
Mainly because they say they have a different view or position. You ask them, a different position from who? From what? Why? There is only one government. There is only one leader, right? And you see, the mistake Kanu made was to kick out so many people until one day they discovered there were more people outside than inside. And what happened is that those who were outside ganged up. And that is how Kanu went into oblivion.
What you're saying may well be very true. This is just the one thing I'm sure the millions of supporters of Jubilee across Kenya tonight will be asking themselves. Yes. If the deputy president, who is the deputy party leader of this party, is speaking as if there are some people within the party that are more powerful than him, that have taken over the party in government and doing whatsoever they wish with the party, and he seemingly cannot do anything about it. That is mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling, Joe. But that is the sad story of our party. We have been unable to have any serious party meeting, to discuss anything, any policy positions, or to discuss what should happen. And the position is really unfortunate. you've just said that there are public officials who insult me and call me names, right? The same ones now in Jubilee, they've gone public to say, we are not going to give Ruto the ticket, even if he wins in 2022. They have gone public to say, we can even choose not to field a candidate in 2022. We will try and sort this out as a party, I promise you.
How?
We will, of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta and I, as leader and party leader and deputy, will have to find a way of sorting out these brokers.
The elephant in the room, Dr. Ruto, which you are not dealing with, in my view.
Every community will belong, and we will all work within and take it forward. Let me tell you, if anything were to happen to Jubilee, the biggest losers will be President Uhuru Kenyatta and myself, because we have invested a lot of time and energy trying to put it together.
The president, he is the leader of this party. Does he share your concern? Surely he can't be powerless and helpless in the face of these brokers and conmen, as you call them?
Well, I guess we will overcome. It will come to a point when we will see what we have to do with our party. But the current where does the resign come from?
Because if you're within and there are people who have taken over a party, you sound very disappointed that the party worked so hard to put together is going the wrong way, and you are almost throwing your hands in the air and saying, there's nothing I can do about it. Those people are doing whatever they want.
I haven't thrown my...
Supposing you had your own party where you can do whatever
I haven't thrown my